Welcome. We're going to look at what's lying ahead of us for 2022. This is an energy forecast, energy update for the coming year. And I'm sharing with you what I perceive that are the energetic qualities of this year, right? So the first thing I would like to start with that is very, very important is I know many of you are tired and are exhausted because of what's been going on for the past 2 years. And no one can blame you. That's totally and perfectly fine. And so in this feeling now that a lot of people have of exhaustion, maybe even of hopelessness or desperation, and asking and wondering, when will this end? When will the one health topic end? And how will it continue? What will unfold next? In this, it is first of all very, very important that we acknowledge that what we have been through for the past 2 years has been, for the great majority, really tough. So it's so important that you acknowledge what you have been through, that you acknowledge maybe what you have lost, that you acknowledge the transformations and the changes you had to welcome because you didn't really want to, or you weren't asked, but you just had to face changes and had to face whatever we're facing at the moment. So the past 2 years have been challenging. Very, very challenging. And I want to invite you now to acknowledge that, to also maybe celebrate yourself for getting through it until now. Now we have 2022. It's only the start. And what's ahead of us? For me, energetically, it feels different to the past 2 years. And I know many people ask then, well, how different? Good different or bad different? Obviously, the challenges will continue, and they will continue not just through the coming year, but many years, right? We will have challenges. Why? Because we are creating a new world. And I'm telling you nothing new. We are creating, and in the process of reinventing humanity and how we want to live and what's possible and what we definitely do not want to continue with. But in order for us to do that, we need to face what we do not want to continue with. And so much has been hidden, you know this. So it is coming up. And this is the same for this year, right? Things will be coming up and we will have to face challenges, but really, it will be different in the sense that, it's only one side of the coin are the challenges. The other side is that the awakening energy, right? The awakening of consciousness and the rising of consciousness and the vibration, that will be a lot more dominant than even in the past 2 years. I know a lot of people have woken up or started their awakening process, becoming aware of who they really are and what the heck it is we're doing here. But it is a journey. So even if you have started a year or 2 years ago, or maybe many years ago, we're still on the journey to discovering, to learning about us, to finding out, to realizing the true nature of everything, and then how to live it, how to actually put it into this reality, put it forward into this reality. So the awakening process will continue in 2022, and that's a good thing. With it come the challenges of awakening, right? Because usually when everything is comfortable, we don't tend to ask the big questions. Who am I actually? Who are we as a species? What are we? And why are we here? And what do we want to live and bring to this reality, and how can we actually change and modify and maybe even glorify this reality with our presence, with our very being. So these questions don't get asked usually when everything is nice and cozy and comfortable. But the past 2 years have already caused a lot of awakening motion in consciousness, and this will continue for this year. This is what I'm sensing very strongly, and that's good, because all consciousness that is expanding is contributing to the collective. And even though the collective majority is still in sort of old energies, the new energy and new consciousness is penetrating those old structures, and this is what we see. And it doesn't possibly go, or it definitely will not go smoothly, as in we won't even notice how the changes happen and all of a sudden things will be brilliant. We know this is not going to be the case, but we can deal with everything that is coming our way, because we're eternal souls who chose this experience. And from this standpoint, things also become much more manageable, because our lifespan here is really so short. And even if you think, but my children and grandchildren, even their lifespan is so short, right? So in the bigger picture, we're all eternal. We're all eternal. And we come here to co-create this experience, right? And this is actually another aspect of 2022, that we become aware again of our own power. Like the whole topic of self-empowerment, wow, that's a big topic. Not to look to the outside world to see how much power are they giving me, how much freedom are they giving me, whoever they is, right? And what is it I'm getting, I'm being given by the outside world, but more like remembering you're a divine, self-empowered being, and no one can give or take anything from you if you don't allow it, which means it depends on your consciousness state. So in 2022, self-empowerment is something that I feel very strongly coming up, where people have to, or are being invited to, maybe sometimes a bit forcefully by the universe and by what's going on, to come back into their inner power and into their inner, I want to say, fortress. It's nearly like it's literally like a castle. My home, my castle, right? So my internal world, my castle, but it's not necessarily just to protect. So it's not necessarily a castle of walls and bricks. It's a castle of, I don't know, clouds, maybe, where you're still protected, where you're still within your own power, right? But there are these soft and gentle, summery, see-through clouds, so people can still find you and you can still reach out. So it's kind of like, yeah, coming back inwards and finding your strength in your castle and your power to create, and your power to actually create change in the direction you want to. And there are so many people who are very much aware that changes are happening which are going to result in a better humanity, a better planet, and a higher frequency experience down here, right? And they're becoming more and more, and it's the same for 2022. They're becoming more and more, which is good. But naturally, we will see the other side as well, that is going to hold on to the old ways and the old energies. And that's okay too, because this is how it works in a dualistic world. And the world, the dualism aspect of this reality will be very, very transparent to all of us. And I invite you to see this as just the rules of the playing field that we're in, but that we can always choose how we are being in this, and choose one side or the other if there is the dualistic approach, right? So if you say, well, there's dark and light and I choose the light, that's fine. But what the light, and especially the consciousness of the light, is able to do is it's able to include everything. It does not have to exclude the dark. So this brings us back to unity consciousness, right? And this is also something that will come up more, maybe not so much with the majority, as in unity consciousness and cultivating unity consciousness, but on some aspect, on some level, this community and togetherness approach to our experience. So I am sensing, and this is, for me, it seems like there are lots of different little communities and groups that are finding each other. So if you feel like you're very alone in this experience, I invite you to reach out and connect with like-minded people that you can group together, that you can support each other. And this is also a job that we have to do for the coming year and also the years after, that we support each other. We will need that, right? So you don't need to go through this by yourself. If you have been doing so far, well done, right? But you don't. One of the solutions actually are best strategies right now and for the next years, to me it seems like, will be connection to others who vibrate on the same level as you do, who have the same maybe aspirations in personal growth, in spiritual growth, in bringing light here, bringing the love here, embodying who we really are, right after self-realization, that once we know what we are, that we actually embody it, that we find ways of being our true being in this world of chaos and difficulty and almost unreal scenarios. Yes, so how can we be who we really are and what we really are in this scenario here, in this reality here, and contribute to humanity moving more and more towards who we really are as souls, moving towards a much more wisdom-based, soul-based, heart-based, love-based, compassion-based society as a whole of humanity. So find like-minded people or like-hearted people, and see, or if you say I find it difficult to go out and look for people, that's okay. Then open yourself up and invite them energetically to you, right? That you say, I can't really talk to this person. Well, if you open yourself up and you say, but I invite people to approach me and I'm more than willing then to engage with them, we create our world. And if you want to connect, you can. And you are going to find like-minded people. And now more than ever, it's easier because of the internet. You will be able to connect with like-minded people on different platforms and in different groups, and therefore, and yes, first it might just be very non-committal because everybody is in their own corner of the world. But my sense is that it will also filter into our personal lives so that we connect with actually people who are in our environment and who have the same level of frequency, so that they match with us and that we join together in dealing with whatever it is we may have to deal with. So I'm not debating that it's going to be challenging, and you know this, no one has to be psychic to know this. Yes, definitely there will be challenges, but I also sense that there will be kind of points of rest and points of take a breath and points of almost like a quietness that we did not have over the past 2 years, where it's like go, 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 and from one chaos stumbling into the next and into the next challenge. I experienced that differently in this year. Now, even though it's going to be challenging, it's also this awakening energy will help many of us to actually pull through and move forward. And the next couple of years are similar to that, and they're holding their own vibrations and their own challenges, and we don't have to get into this right now, but what we're doing right now will have an effect on the coming years. So instead of, and this is really, really important, instead of constantly thinking about your fears or feeling your fears, your worries, your anxieties, your hopelessness in relation to what is going on in the world and maybe in your own life. Instead of doing that, remember that we are creators. We cannot not create. And what creates is the vibration we hold. What creates is how we vibrate and our frequency. So if we take the responsibility fully for how we vibrate at the moment, in this moment and in this moment and in this moment, meaning filling everything that is within you with the vibration that you want to feel, number one, that you want to express, and that you want to see in the world. This is what will create the reality that is going to follow. So if you want a future that is peaceful, that feels free, that feels autonomous, sovereign, loving, kind, compassionate, caring, joyful, blissful, you're creating it right now. And if you don't feel any of these things right now, this is where we need to start. The outside world is not going to get fixed so you can feel better. And you cannot say, until then I will not feel better, because then you will always feel fear and you will always feel stuck and always feel unfree. So it is this job from the inside out. You become what you want to see in the world. You've heard this sentence before, but it's real because this is how manifestation happens. Not what you think. That is even a result of who you are being, right? Who you are, what you radiate out is going to create. So our job, and this is for all the light workers out there, for all the people who have started to awaken and who are ready and willing to actively create their own lives and influence positively and support positively the lives of others and the movement of the planet forward and upward, right? To all of you, remember, our creating power is in the now. It's in the now, today. So let's fill ourselves with the bliss, with the joy, with the hope, with the support, with the love, with the kindness, with the peace. Let's fill ourselves with those energies in this moment. Now while we talk, feel it. Feel yourself become more peaceful. Not because anything out there gives you reason to feel more peaceful, but because you choose to, because that is empowerment. You choose your state of being, and no one can influence that. You choose that. And this does not mean denying reality that right now we're seeing lots of different realities parallel, and it's like who is right and who is not. They're seeing the world with completely different lenses, and yet they're talking about the same thing, right? So reality is questionable anyway. because it's always dependent on perspective. So it's not about denying reality out there. It's about, where is my focus and where is my creator's power? And things are the way they are right now. Why? Because I've also co-created them somehow, right? And if I know I can change how I feel, what I'm sending out, I will get the response back from the outside world. First of all, in your immediate surroundings, and then it will go into the collective. What you're sending out will go into the collective, because we're all connected. We're not even separate. We're all the same. Like, I'm saying this, we're all the same person, as in being. All souls here incarnated, right? We come from the same, well, maybe it's not a being, right? But if you visualize like that, it makes it more tangible. But it's the same energy. It's the same sea, yes? And we're all these drops. And because we're all the same, we cannot not influence each other. So we're connected. And in this moment lies the power to create what we actually want to experience, instead of constantly allowing others to take the focus away from that vision, from that inner point of strength and creation, and taking our focus, hijacking it, so to speak, and focusing our attention on exactly the opposite of what we want to create, and then feeling hopeless because it's everywhere. Then we notice everywhere is something that we do not want. So coming back inside and owning our creative power, owning it. And yes, you can say, I'm only one person. What does it matter? We see right now globally that if people stop, or when people stop thinking they're only one person and they do something, a second one will join, and a third one, and 100, and 1,000, and hundreds of thousands, and millions. So in those millions, they're all still there. You're still the one. But all of a sudden you're the one with more, because of what you are sending out. And this is really for this year. Remember, we create in the moment. So whenever you feel the fear rising up, fear of the future and what's lying ahead, and doom and gloom news and predictions, remember, I'm creating right now. So I'm filling myself with peace and hope and joy and understanding and wisdom and love and divinity. And this is who I choose to embody to be today. And so my tomorrow will be a bit more of that. And the day after that will be a bit more. And all of a sudden my environment will be like that. And then it's going to radiate out. Okay. This is what I would like to share with you for this coming year. We're going to handle all of it. Yes, it's not going to be easy, but we're going to handle all of it. And in reaching out, in holding each other's hands and supporting each other, we can do this. Okay? I'm going to love you and leave you for today, and we'll talk again next time if you want to.